Respected Shri Ajay Kumar Sahu sir, Member Services DCC. Respected Shri Dev Kumar Chakravarti sir, DG Anti-IPRIT. Shri S.K. Bhalla sir, DDG TSNPR Anti-IPRIT. Esteemed speakers of the webinar, senior officers of DOT, TEC, LSAs, Anti-IPRIT, participants from academia and industry. Very good morning to all. I, Vishal Dheer, Director TSNPR Anti-IPRIT, welcomes you all to today's webinar on Cyber Swachhta. In today's webinar, firstly, we will have an inaugural session followed by 3 sessions from the expert faculties. First session would be on the role of CERT-in Cyber Swachhta and would be taken by Shri Bhupender Singh, who's working as scientist in Cyber Swachhta Kendra in CERT-in. Second session would be on the role of DOT in Cyber Swachhta, and session would be taken by Shri P.K. Singh sir, who is working as DDG SA and also holding the charge of CISO for Department of Telecommunication. And third session would be on the cyber security best practices and would be taken by undersigned. Now, with permission of chair, I may request Shri Dev Kumar Chakravarti sir, DG Anti-IPRIT, who have always encouraged and guided us to organize such programs, to give their welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vishal. A very good morning to everybody. The National Premier Institution for Telecom Policy Research, Innovation and Training is organizing this webinar today on Cyber Swachhta. It is commemorating with the government's Clean India Mission and SHS, the Swachhta Hi Seva campaign. At the outset, I welcome our Honorable Member Services, Digital Communication Commission, Sri A.K. Shahu sir, for sparing his valuable time, and sir also will be inaugurating this particular webinar. I also welcome the expert speakers from the CERT-in, Mr. Bhupender Singh, the Scientist Director of the CSA in NATI, Mr. P.K. Singh, DDG SA from the DOT, and also Mr. Vishal Deep, the Director TSNPR of Anti-IPRIT. I also welcome all the participants for whom this webinar is actually meant, and request an active participation in the webinar, and also to disseminate the information further to the citizen around them. The raising awareness on cyber safety and security among the stakeholders and the citizens at large, and organizing various events, seminars, workshops in Cyber Swachhta mission is one of the very important objectives under the SHS campaign, Swachhta Hi Seva campaign. And this institution is doing its part in the true spirit. You were aware that in the recent past, out of the 7 sectors where the infrastructure is very critical, and any amount of cyber attack or any cyber vulnerability may cause a serious damage to the nation's security. The 7 sectors have been identified as a critical infrastructure of the government. Telecom is one such sector. Accordingly, a lot of works has been done by the Department of Telecom. And finally, now it has developed the counterfeit for the cyber security and the security of the nation from the telecom and the cyber side. Now it is ready with the telecom sector CERT, what normally we call TCIRT, the Telecom System Computer Incident Reporting Team, backed by the TSOC, which is basically the Telecom Security Creation Control Center, Telecom Security Operation Control Center, and DDG SA, Mr. P.K. Singh, I think he will be addressing further on this particular issue. Finally, the system is now ready for a pan-India rollout. Every field unit of DOT, basically the LSA headquarter offices, they will be having the terminals or the units of this particular T-shirt system, which will be backed by artificial intelligence as well as the DIU unit, the Digital Intelligence Unit. I can assure, with the help of the police department and other law enforcing agencies, the cyber, particularly the telecom domain, will be much safer to the people, to the citizen, and it will be ensuring the highest order of integrity and stopping such type of cyber attack to the nation in future. It is often said that the 5 most efficient cyber defenders are basically anticipation, education, detection, reaction, and resilience. However, telling it in a layman's language, the Cyber Swachhta can be enforced best only if the net users possess the due awareness about it. As such, this type of webinar and further dissemination of the positive behaviors in the net, it has assumed much significance today. Our today's effort is directed towards this particular cause of awareness generation among the net users. A massive awareness campaign is the need of the hour to keep every net user safe. Our similar such efforts in the past has worked very well. In fact, I can share one example. When I was in the UP West LSA, we took a massive campaign for this type of cyber financial frauds and the remedial measures. We published messages in the newspaper, pamphlets were distributed, in the FM radio, jingles were given, messages were given, and what was told to the people, the do's and don'ts. And also, once you have fallen victim to a cyber attack, lodge a complaint to 1930. And subsequently, you can even dial that number and you can find out what happened to your particular case. And the result was much beyond our expectation. Finally, we saw that in many affected areas, the districts of the Western UP, as well as the North region, frauds, this type of incidences, it came down drastically. So what I basically meant that this type of awareness generation campaign on a massive way and finally reaching out to the citizens and telling them, if you are using net, you have to be aware, you have to know this, and you have to know the process once you have fallen a victim of that. It really works. And that was basically the motivation of arranging this particular webinar. The power to empower the citizen with required awareness and knowledge is very, very important. I do think this webinar today will also prove to be very meaningful and useful to all the participants. I again welcome our Honorable Member Services, Sri A.K. Shaku sir, and all the participants. Thank you very much. Mr. Vishal.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. My sincere thanks to Shri Dev Kumar Chakravarti sir, DG Anti-Prit, for welcoming the audience in this event. Thanks a lot, sir. Moving forward, we are delighted to have respected Shri Ajay Kumar Sahu sir, Member Services DCC, who took out time from his busy schedule for today's webinar. We are highly obliged by your presence, sir. It's my privilege to request sir to deliver their inaugural address regarding today's program to the audience. Over to you, sir.
Good morning to all. Very good morning to all the participants from academia, telecom fraternity, DOT, and other ministries, ladies and gentlemen. Mahatma Gandhi's date of birth is 2nd October, and this month we are remembering him for the Swachhta, his vision and his aim at cleansing of humanity of hatred and violence. His mission was spiritual cleansing of not only India, but whole world. His message for peace, non-violence, love, and brotherhood. Physical cleansing is also one of the overall goal. To realize the Swachhta vision of Mahatma Gandhi ji, Government of India is celebrating this month of October through a special campaign for Swachhta. In today's digital world, the internet or cyberspace is misused for spreading hatred, conflict, cyber attacks, and making atmosphere unsecure. In this context, our NTI-PRIT is organizing a very useful webinar on Cyber Swachhta. I congratulate NTI-PRIT for this initiative and also appreciate the participants for joining this webinar. So Cyber Swachhta is analogous to physical hygiene in the physical world and spiritual cleansing in the mental health. It involves regular routine precautions to ensure the cleanliness of and safety of the digital environment. The role of Cyber Swachhta is to promote and maintain good practices and habits that help individuals and organizations to protect their digital assets and informations from cyber threat and attacks. Cyberspace is a very complex and dynamic environment of software and devices supported by worldwide distribution of ICT devices and networks. The exponential rise in the number of internet users in the world with rapidly evolving technologies has brought its own challenges to protect the system. In today's connected world, Cyber Swachhta is an ongoing practice that requires everyone to be vigilant. It helps individuals and organizations to reduce the risk of cyber attacks and data breaches by adopting the best practices. Security awareness training about Cyber Swachhta and best practices is the key component of preventive vigilance. Clear security policies and procedures guide employee on how to handle data and system securely by promoting a culture of security. This webinar will help to understand the role of CERT-in and DOT in maintaining the Cyber Swachh Bharat. Looking at today's program and expertise of the speakers in the field, I am confident that this webinar is going to be a very useful and understanding the role of different stakeholders in Cyber Swachhta. I am sure that this webinar will give great insight to the participants that how Government of India and state governments are working towards tackling the cyber challenges and the best practices to be followed for maintaining proper cyber hygiene in official and personal space. Last but not the least, I would like to appreciate DG anti-hybrid Shri Dev Kumar Chakraborty and his team for organizing this webinar. My best wishes to all the participants and anti-hybrid. Cyberspace has to be protected from external world, which is connected through internet, and Department of Telecommunication has already have TSOC good system, which is being used by different security agencies, and with the help of this TSOC system, we are protecting our digital space from the cyber attacks, external world attacks. Similarly, we have NCCS in Department of Telecom and NSCS also, which give the policies. I am sure that this organization, this webinar will definitely benefit to all the participants. My best wishes to all the participants and anti-hybrid. I declare this webinar open for the deliberations. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. My sincere thanks to respected Shri Ajay Kumar Sahu sir, Member Services DCC, for inaugurating today's program. We are extremely thankful to you, sir. With permission of the chair, now may I request Shri S.K. Bhalla sir, DDE, TS, NPR and TAPRIT, who always motivate us and guide us to conduct such programs, to propose vote of thanks to Member Services, sir, for inaugurating this webinar. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vishal. Respected Member Services, Shri Ajay Kumar Sahu ji, DG NTI Period, PRIT, Shri Dev Kumar Chakravarti ji. It's a privilege to propose vote of thanks. On behalf of NTI PRIT, I express my sincere gratitude to Shri Ajay Kumar Sahu ji, Member Services, Digital Communication Commission, for taking out time from his busy schedule to grace this inaugural session and also address the participants. Sir, your address has established the need for Cyber Swachhta. You have rightly emphasized that we all need to contribute for realizing the vision of our grand nation's father, Mahatma Gandhi ji, and you have rightly emphasized the need for institutionalizing Cyber Swachhta in our day-to-day life. Sir, we assure that NTI PRIT will continue to conduct such quality programs in future under your leadership. Thank you very much, sir, for sparing out time for joining this webinar and inaugurating it. Thank you very much, sir. I also express my sincere gratitude to our DG, Shri Dev Kumar Chakravarti ji. It is under his guidance and mentorship that we all have been able to design and conduct this webinar. Thank you very much, sir. Now, with your permission, I would like to start the technical sessions. Over to Vishal.
Thank you, sir. Now, with permission, we can start with the technical session. Let me share the brief bio first. Yes, sir. The first session of this webinar will be on the role of CERT-in Cyber Swachhta, and the session will be taken by Shri Bhupinder Singh, Scientist and Director, Cyber Swachhta Kendra, CERT-in under Ministry of MIT. We are delighted to have you, sir, as a speaker in this webinar. Let me give you a brief bio. Sir has over 15 years of experience at Indian Computer Emergency Response Team CERT-in and has a rich experience in the domains of cybersecurity across various areas spanning from incident response, malware reverse engineering, and he has implemented data center security architecture in CSK in CERT-in also. Sir has pursued various certifications from SANS Institute like GCIH, GREM, GCFA, and other programs. Currently, he holds a position of director at Cyber Swachhta Kendra, a citizen-centric cybersecurity project, and operated as a part of Government of India's Digital India initiative under MIT. Sir, we are highly privileged to have you, sir, for this session. And I hand over this podium to you to start the first session. For next 25-30 minutes, the webinar is up to you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the wonderful introduction. And thank you very much for the inaugural speech given by Sir. And it is very much in line with the topic of the today, which is Cyber Swachhta. And it was definitely a need of an hour. And as we see in the past 10 years, we have seen an exponential growth of ICT infrastructure usage among the common citizens. And there was definitely need of having such kind of initiatives in the past. And we have also at CERT India, we have taken upon this opportunity at CERT India, and we are giving the skill development trainings and awareness programs. We are having awareness programs among citizens since so long. And in 2015, we have initiated a program of Cyber Swachhta to bring bring the awareness among the citizens and help citizens from generic malware infections, botnet infections, malwares running onto their computers and Android devices. So I'll be starting with a brief about what CERT India is and what is the role of CERT India in the area of Cyber Swachhta. Allow me to share my screen. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir, it's coming over. Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. So let's start with today's session. I'll be talking about the role of Indian Computer Emergency Response Team, CERT-India, in the area of Cyber Swachhta. As in the inaugural session touched by Sir, that how Cyber Swachhta is important because as said by the Mahatma Gandhi, Cyber Swachhta is very much important in the physical world. The same we are taking upon to us, and we have taken this campaign to the cyber world because there was a point of time when India was ranked among top 5 in the field of botnet and malware infection in India. So let's start with this presentation. So we talk about what CERT-India is and what is the mandate of CERT-India. CERT-India was established in the year 2004 under the Department of Electronics and IT, which was under Ministry of Communication and IT, which has now renamed as Ministry of Electronics and IT. And we have a special power under Information Technology Act 2000, amendment in 2008 under Section 70B. CERT-in is designated as a nodal agency to perform the functions in the area of cybersecurity, like forecasting of cyber alerts, cybersecurity incidents, handling of cybersecurity incidents, collection and analysis, dissemination of information on cyber incidents, emergency measures for handling cybersecurity incidents, coordination of cyber incident response activities among affected entities and local law enforcement agencies and all. And we are also responsible for issuing guidelines, advisories, and vulnerability notes, white papers, and guidelines. We have also issued cybersecurity best practices and say various guidelines to prevent cyber threats. So let's talk about the core activities of CERT-India. CERT-India has a core activity of incident response. The primary responsibility of CERT-India is to help citizens and major organizations, enterprises by handling their cybersecurity incidents and providing assistance and do the root cause analysis of incident. So for handling computer security incident, we have a 24/7 incident response help desk, which is operated from CGO office. And the major role of incident response is to collect the investigation, collect the evidences from affected entities, and perform the investigations by identifying the root cause of the incident and suggesting the security and measures to enterprises and organizations so that they can avoid similar kind of incidents in future. We have other services in which we talk about the security quality and management of the services, where we have issued a security framework in security framework and auditing services, where we do the empanelment of security auditors who are responsible for auditing the infrastructure of IT infrastructure of an organization, as it is mandated by Government of India that all the security audit has to be done by the empaneled security auditors only. In the prevention of security, we are tracking the latest cybersecurity attacks and threats, and we regularly issue security alerts and advisories and vulnerability notes and various guidelines on our website, that is www.cert-in.org.in. We do conduct security workshops and various security awareness programs through online means, and as well as in-person training at our CERT-India training center. We do have a cyber forensics labs. This lab is responsible for analyzing the data extracted from the digital devices collected from the crime scenes. And in quality management service, we also promote cybersecurity best practices and security standards. We do conduct cybersecurity drills and exercises with the mock. It's a kind of mock drill in which we give a scenario to enterprises and organizations, and we tell them to defend their infrastructure, and it's a kind of blue team and red team kind of exercise where they have to defend the attacks and they have to report to us, and they have to act upon to the situations when such kind of event occurs. So whom to contact, how to contact, what are the evidences, and what are the information they need to share with the agencies. So that kind of exercise we perform in our cybersecurity drills. We do have a cyber crisis management plan in which organizations has to design their own plan based on this template, so that in case of any crisis, how to react under those circumstances, and whom to contact, and how to reach out for mitigation steps and all. We do have apologize. We do have a CV numbering authority at CERT India, which we have recently received from MITRE. For the softwares and services and equipment which are operated in India, if any researchers identify any vulnerability in that particular software or devices, they can report to us. We'll validate it and we'll assign a CV number to it, and later on this number will be shared with MITRE. So in awareness and threat intelligence exercise in this particular activity of CERT India, we have a threat intelligence platform with us. We collect the information from various sources, and we enrich those IOCs and contextualize with the particular attack, and we share this information with all the entities which are onboarded with us in a near real time. We have a platform which works on a Stix taxi thing, and we have a bidirectional sharing of IOCs. We do share with information. We do share information with the enterprise, and in return, organizations also share the same with us. In case if they identify any pointers which IOC on the basis of the IOCs which we have shared with them. And we have the capability to integrate with the MISP and the taxi. Along with the threat intelligence, we also have a center which monitors the traffic of metadata for early warning, which we call as NCCC. And for the topic of an hour, we have the Cyber Swachhta campaign. Cyber Swachhta campaign was launched in 2017. It is a collaborative effort between the CERT India, academia, and the DOT, ISPs, and the industries. At Cyber Swachhta campaign, we have a mandate to identify the botnet infections in India and notify the end user with the help of DOT and ISPs. We have developed various bot removal tools for Windows and Android system. These free bot removal tools are available on our website for citizen for the consumption and removal of any kind of infection from their digital devices. So for 24/7 incident response help desk, we have toll-free numbers and we have the email reporting system. And for vulnerability disclosure, CNA, we have a dedicated email ID for this thing. So the common challenges and cybersecurity events which we have observed are, we have observed that there is an increase of malicious mobile apps, fake apps are distributing and increasing very rapidly in India. We have also observed the complexity, the growth of complexity of IT infrastructure in IoT and IoT structure. And we have also observed the increase of potential insider threats. We have also observed the advanced processing threat attacks in India, which are highly sophisticated and observed in very critical sectors like oil and financial sectors. We have also observed supply chain attacks where the software which are delivered by the vendor are trojanized, and when this particular software is installed in an organization, resulted into a breach of major incident in that particular organization. And we have also observed that there is a lack of citizen awareness for the cyber security. So that is the reason we are having these kind of awareness campaigns. So let's briefly touch about the operations of Cyber Swachhta Kendra. What is Cyber Swachhta Kendra, and what are the operations of Cyber Swachhta Kendra? As I explained, it was inaugurated by that time of Minister of Electronics and IT on 21st February 2007. Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad ji has inaugurated this center, and the mission is to create a cyber space and early detection of botnet infections and malwares in India, and to notify to affected entities, affected organizations in time. We have the vision of bringing Swachhta from physical space to cyberspace through the partnership between the private and public sector entities. We have deliverables like free bot removal tools for Android and Windows operating system. Like I explained, we are operating in a public-private partnership model. And with the help of Cyber Swachhta, we have observed a reduction of 60% of botnet malware infection in India since 2017. And we do report vulnerable and open service kind of events to enterprise organizations which are onboarded with us. And we have observed a 90% of reduction in open and vulnerable service since 2017. Okay, I'm skipping this. Okay, I have explained in the beginning of the presentation what was the need of having a Cyber Swachhta, because growth of ICT is exponential in the past last 1 decade, and the increase of mobile devices and digital computing devices has increased a lot. And we were among top 5 in the 2015-2016 era in the category of botnet and malware infection. And we have observed that there was a lack of dedicated detection mechanism or VEDIL mechanism at that point of time. That is the reason we have launched Cyber Swachhta and also providing a free bot removal tool to the citizens. Let's talk about the approach, how the Cyber Swachhta operates. So we do collect feeds from our internal sources as well as from the external sources across the world, and we process this information at Cyber Swachhta. We pass it, we harmonize it, and we bring it to a normalized structure, and then we share this information with the internet service providers by passing with the data belonging to them. And we request internet service providers to identify the affected end user who is affected by botnet and malware infection through the information provided by CSK, and and request them to visit the website of Cyber Swachhta, that is csk.gov.in, and get the free antidote. We do share the malware samples collected from various projects of CERT-in and other, and we share these malware samples with AV vendors to create a signature, and the same will be provided through our website. So just a glance, how many organizations we are serving as of now. So we have approximately 212 ISPs. All Class A, Class B ISPs are onboarded with CSK. And we have approximately 10 CI sectors configured with us, including transport, energy sector, academia, BFSI, healthcare, industry and manufacturing, IT and ITES, and smart cities. So when we started CSK in 2017, we have only 123 organizations, and as soon as our visibility increased and the services provided by CERT India was appreciated by the organization. We reached to the different organizations in multiple sectors, and now we have 868 organizations as of 30th September 2023. So just to overview how we are helping organizations to mitigate risk. So as of now, we have 868 organizations from 10 different sectors. We process events collected from various sources, approximately 4 to 6 million events per day. And we have observed 550 unique malware families operating are found in Indian cyberspace. We share this information with all the sectors on a daily basis through email as of now. And this is all automated system. We have configured these organizations, and the information is shared with the POCs of respective entities on a daily basis. Our bot removal tool has been reached up to 43 lakhs downloads till now. And our website csk.gov.in observed around 1.5 million hits per day. So this is the overall impact of Cyber Swachhta in cyberspace. When we started notifying to the organizations, we can see in the transport sector, when we started notifying in 2021, events were very high at that point of time. And when the notification reached to them and they started taking action, their infection has reduced. And currently we can see in this month of October, the event are close to minimal. Similar trend is also observed in energy sector. As I explained in the beginning, 90% of reduction we have observed once we started notifying the end users and entities. So in the month of October, we are celebrating National Cyber Security Awareness Month. Also, we are calling it as a special campaign, special campaign 3.0. In this special campaign, we have requested internet service providers to share SMS or email notifications with all the internet IT users in India to visit the website of Cyber Swachhta and get the free bot removal tool downloaded from there and share and secure their digital devices. So this is the website of Cyber Swachhta. This website is in Hindi as well as in English language, and it has all the information which a user or a internet user requires to know about what is Cyber Swachhta, why I reached to this page, how to secure my devices. And there are several guidelines and best practices published on this website. Now, just I'll touch who should actually onboard with CSK and get the botnet feeds, botnet infected device feeds, and the vulnerable open and exposed services feeds from us. So I request all the organizations who have significant amount of IT infrastructure and delivering any kind of services to the citizens over internet. They are all requested to avail services of CSK at free of cost. This includes the open and vulnerable services, which usually organizations has to identify through auditing process. And this audit process is a time-consuming process. They require money as well as time, and sometimes the closure reports may come after a week or a 1 month. But Cyber Swachhta can detect open and vulnerable and exposed services within a time frame window of 24 hours, and organization will be notified on an automated manner. This particular thing was very much appreciated by banks, CISOs and all, because earlier the notification was going through internet service providers, like when they identify the affected user through IP and the rest of the details provided to them, and it will take time to reach that alert to them. So we started notifying banks and other critical sectors directly by onboarding their public IP ranges with CSK. So what are the guidelines for onboarding with CSK? For getting botnet infection and open vulnerable exposed services from CSK, we require a registered and corresponding addresses of individual enterprise. We require a dedicated point of contact uh, where we can share the details on a daily basis. We require the information of chief information security officers and their email IDs and postal address and phone numbers in case if we wish to escalate if the dedicated point of contact is not taking action in a period of time. And for onboarding, we require public IP ranges of particular organization of the enterprise who wants to onboard and their center, their branches, their data centers. So all the IP ranges used by their data centers and branches can be shared with us in CIDR notation so that we can configure with CSK and share the botnet infection and vulnerable services with them. So what are the services we offer? Like I explained, we share the botnet infection and malware details with the enterprises. We also share vulnerable, open, and exposed services event. And some of the events which we are not sharing with everyone, but we can start with this. These are the experimental feeds available at CERT-India, like the IP addresses who are performing scanning activity. They might be from India, they might be from outside India. The IP addresses which are responsible for performing brute force attempts. The list of C2 IPs, the C2 command and control server IPs, we can share with the enterprise entities so that they can monitor if any internal system or their systems are connecting to C2 servers and they can take remedial actions. We can also provide malicious and phishing links. The same can be configured in UTMs or firewalls so that their users can be protected. And we also provide free bot removal tool for Windows and Android system through our website. The other reports also available with CSK. These are all experimental feeds we can provide on a on the need basis, like the brute force IPs, the C2 IPs, the potential DDoS IPs where a DDoS can happen in future, and the DDoS targeted IPs. And we can share the exposed services running on the public IP ranges of an entity, open services, open ports, phishing, scanning, weak encryption, and there are several reports available with us. So this is all the contribution of CERT-India and CSK for bringing Cyber Swachhta in Indian cyberspace. I wish everyone to have a safe and secure internet and have a safe browsing. All interesting enterprises may like to contact us for getting these details, and this is free of cost. And users can download a free bot removal tool available at our website. That is also free of cost. We do update these bot removal tools very frequently, twice in a week, so that it can detect all the latest botnets and Trojans and such kind of malicious objects. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Jai Hind.
Thanks a lot, Bhupinder sir. It was quite an informative session. Yeah. And I hope our audience must have gained from this and got the overall overview about the working of CSK and how they are tackling all the aspects.
Thank you.
So we are delighted to have, and in future also we would be connecting you for such informative sessions again, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So let us move on to the next session. Let me share the brief bio first. I hope it's visible now. The second session is on the role of DOT in the Cyber Swachhta, and session would be taken by Shri P.K. Singh sir, DDG SA Wing and CISO of Department of Telecommunications. Sir, we are delighted to have you as a speaker in this webinar. Let me give a brief bio about sir that you can read on the shared screen. Sir is an ITS officer and presently posted in Security Assurance Wing as DDG, and sir is acting as the Chief Information Security Officer of department. Sir has excellent experience in digital financial transaction security while working in TC also, and has a vast experience in laying down technical specifications for various telecom products and networks, testing and evaluating them against the laid down specification and international standards. Sir has immense experience in the field of cyber security, and we are highly delighted to have you, sir, here. And I request you to kindly take over from here and enlighten the audience with your session, sir.
Thank you, Vishal. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
So just let me upload the presentation also. Yeah. So
Yes, sir.
is the presentation visible now?
Yes, sir, it's visible,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, let me congratulate NTI PRIT in arranging this wonderful session on the activities being performed by various organizations in ensuring that the cyber remains Swachh, the Indian cyber remains Swachh. And I'm basically, I acknowledge the very great role being played by NTI PRIT in this regard. And I also wish that they take up more activities which will ensure in developing trained manpower, in developing policy inputs, and will also provide a lot of valuable information to the policymakers so that they are able to take care of the relevant activities which are required to be carried out in ensuring that the Indian cyberspace remains clean. So what exactly is meant by the cyberspace is the first which we all would like to know about. Cyberspace is basically a very complex environment, and it basically consists of not only the communication networks over which the interactions happen, but the interactions between people, software, services, supported by the worldwide distribution of information and communication technology, devices and networks. They all basically go into the making of a cyberspace. So it is not only the ISP's network, which is part of the cyberspace, the people who are manning these locations, the policies which govern their actions, the softwares and the services which are being provided by them, and also the information where it is hosted and from where it is provided. So all that becomes part of the cyberspace. And the cyberspace, nowadays the cyberspace is used by one and all, and they are used by all of them for performing different type of activities, and almost all type of activities are being performed over the cyberspace. Hence, the criticality and the need of having a safe and secure cyberspace is evident to one and all. If the cyberspace is not safe, if the cyberspace is not secure, it basically has a very large impact on all aspects of the society, economy, and the government. Hence, the cyberspace is considered to be a critical sector, and we basically have to take appropriate means and mechanisms to ensure that the cyberspace remains clean and safe and secure. Who are basically the stakeholders in this cyberspace? The customers. They are the most important stakeholders. The customers could be a benevolent customer, or it could be a malevolent customer. The normal users who are accessing the information, etc., they basically fall under the category of the good users. Then there are also the bad users also, which may be anti-social elements, which may be anti-national elements, which may be hackers, which may be crackers. All basically making use of the cyberspace for certain malintents. So the users could be categorized as two. Then we have the internet service providers who basically provide the mechanism of connecting the people, connecting the equipments where the information is hosted, connecting the service providers, various type of service providers who make use of the network provided by the ISPs for providing the various type of different services. And prominent among them are basically the content providers or the web service providers who are involved in providing various type of services and applications, like the social media applications are being provided by the OTT providers. Then we have the proxy servers who also play a very important role. Then we have the internet exchange points, the points where the information is getting exchanged among the various service providers, among the various users. Then we have the content aggregators, then the email service providers, the video service providers, etc., etc. So we have a lot of those various type of service providers who basically can be clubbed under the content providers and the web service providers category. Then to take care of the policies, to take care of the law enforcement, etc., we basically have the government as one of the a major stakeholder in the cyberspace. The role which the government can play may fall under the category of being a licensor or being a regulator or being a law enforcement agencies, or they can basically be the policy formulating entities, or they could be the entities which ensure the enforcement of the government policies so that the clean equipment, the safe equipment and secure equipment is what is deployed in the telecom service providers network or the ISP network. Then we have the media, we have the courts, we have the civil society organizations, etc., also playing very important role in ensuring the cyber swachhta of the cyberspace. Now, coming to a very generic hierarchy of what cyber crimes are and what cyber related crimes are. In fact, there is an activity which is being going on under the auspices of the UN, wherein an ad hoc committee has been constituted, which has members from all the UN members states, and they are currently deliberating on the definitions of the cyber crime and how the cooperation among the various member states can be there to tackle the cyber crime which are performed, let's say, in a country, but the impact is basically in another country. So the perpetrators of the cyber crime may reside in one country, but the impact of that may be felt in other country, as the cyber crime is basically a crime which is not having any territorial jurisdiction or territorial boundaries. So the important group has been formed under the auspices of the UNO, and they are currently deliberating. But a broad definition of the hierarchy of the cyber crime could be: there are cyber specific crimes, which may be cyber piracy, which may be cyber trespass, cyber vandalism, cyber terrorism, etc. There could be cyber exacerbated crimes, which are basically performed over the cyberspace, like the cyber stalking, the internet pedophilia, internet pornography, exchange of a lot of unrelated information, or antisocial elements performing their activities in the cyber world. They basically fall under the cyber exacerbated crimes. Then there are cyber assisted crimes, where the use of cyber world is made use of, and the crime is actually the conventional crime which is being performed. So this is a broad definition and categorization of the cyber crimes, and the internationally accepted definitions would be the part of the deliberations which are going on. Once the deliberations are finalized and their report is ready, then we'll basically get a detailed definitions of the various type of cyber crimes and their hierarchies, and what support, what type of support, and how that support is going to be extended among the member states for taking care of the international cyber crimes. Hacking, denial of service, these basically are part of the cyber crimes. Then cyber stalking, cyber defamation, they are basically the cyber assisted crimes. And if you are threatening somebody, then this is basically part of the cyber assisted crime, because you are making use of the cyber world for threatening a person, which basically falls under the conventional definition of the crime. And there are various sections defined in the CRPC, which basically relates to the civil offences, which do take care of these type of cyber crimes. Now, who can be a cyber criminal? When we analyze the past cyber criminal profiles, what we find is that it could be a discontent employee who may have made use of the cyber world to harm the employer. It could be teenagers, could be political activists, professional hackers, business rival, ex-boyfriend, divorced spouses, etc., etc. In fact, the list goes on and on. In fact, any person could become a cyber criminal, as is very true for a normal criminal. The same thing is true for a cyber criminal. It is ultimately the environment, it is ultimately the ease of availability of a particular tool, etc., etc., which governs who a criminal can be and when a person can turn a criminal. The same thing is truly applicable to the cyber world also. And it basically becomes all the more important that we keep the cyber world safe, secure, so that it is not made use by a person in committing a cyber crime. Now, coming to the DOT's role in ensuring that the cyber world remains the clean, safe, and secure, the first and most important role of DOT is that the DOT is the licensor, and it gives the license to the internet service providers to set up the network and start providing the internet services in the country. These internet service providers are basically very important cog in the wheel of the entire cyberspace, and they provide the point of connectivity to the users. And they also provide various applications. They also provide various services to the users so that they are able to access the cyber world and perform the important activities which they intend to perform over the cyber world. Now, apart from the role of being the licensor, DOT also performs a lot of important obligations being the licensor, and that is basically it mandates the certain security conditions which are required to be complied by the licensees. And the objective of these security conditions is that there should not be a conversion of the network into a network which can be misused or which can be made use by anti-social elements, anti-national elements, or any normal criminal for performing the criminal activities against the citizens of the country, against the citizens of the world. So the security conditions are being mandated by DOT, and the compliance to those security conditions is also checked and enforced by the DOT as the licensor. And to that effect, DOT has already issued certain conditions like the telecom service providers or the licensors. They basically are responsible for the security of their network. And to that effect, they are required to have a security policy of their own. And what minimum is required to be available in the security policy of a licensee is what has been mandated by DOT, and all the security policies being framed and being followed by the licensees is being checked, cross-checked by the DOT as part of its role as a licensor. And apart from that, the service providers, they basically are involved in the business of providing the services. And for that, they keep on doing additions to their network, and they keep on doing configuration modifications so that the services are made available to the users in the most efficient manner. And in doing those day-to-day configuration changes, etc., certain vulnerabilities might creep in, which might be exploited by malicious users sitting across the cyber world. So in order not to get those vulnerabilities exposed to the malicious actors, the DOT has also mandated that regular security audits are to be conducted by third party annually, and the report is required to be submitted to DOT that everything is fine. And after that, the DOT, through its field units, also ensures that the findings of the third party independent security auditors have been complied with. DOT has mandated its field units to do a cross-check security audit so that the network remains the secure and it doesn't become a playground for the malicious actors. The network can not become secure if the equipment which go into the making of the network themselves are not secure. So DOT has also taken this role of ensuring that the network elements which go into the making of the network, they themselves are independently and individually secure. And for that, DOT has already mandated a scheme which is known by the name of mandatory testing and certification of telecom equipment scheme. Under the scheme, the network elements which are deployed by the telecom service providers or the telecom equipments which are made use by the telecom service providers in developing and expanding their networks, and the user end equipments or any equipment which is made use by any entity within the country for connecting to the telecom service providers network or to the licensees network is required to be tested and certified prior to its sale within the country to ensure that the equipment is not going to degrade, the quality of service is not going to degrade the telecom network. It is not going to make the network unsecure, etc. So to take care of all those activities, DOT in its role as a licensor has mandated that all the equipment which go into the making of the telecom service providers is tested and certified prior to its deployment in the network. Then once the network has been deployed, there is a need of doing a monitoring of the network to ensure that the network remains safe and secure all the time. And for doing that monitoring, DOT has developed the system which is known by the name of Telecom Security Operations Center. And through this Telecom Security Operations Center, what we are doing is we are basically monitoring the traffic which is flowing in the network. And when I say DOT is monitoring the traffic, it basically means that we are monitoring the metadata of the traffic which is flowing, and on the basis of the certain characteristics available in the metadata, we are basically able to ensure that the traffic which is flowing is not the malicious traffic, is not a traffic from malicious users. And in fact, just by analyzing the metadata on 24/7 basis through the TSOC, we are able to identify whether a system in the licensee network has been compromised whether it has become a command and control system. We are basically able to identify on the basis of metadata itself whether the cyber communication network is under a denial of service attack, or whether some malicious entity is performing a port scan so that they are able to determine the vulnerabilities available in the network and exploit those. So all such type of activities can be detected through the Telecom Security Operations Center. Then we are also able to detect the users of darknet and also the users of the VPNs. And in case we come across that there are certain malicious users who are making use of the darknet or the VPNs, then we have developed the capabilities of doing identification who those actual users are, who those actual users of darknet are, who actual users of those VPNs are, and whether those activities which are being performed are malicious activities or not. And in case we get a confirmation that the activities which are being performed by making use of the darknet or through the VPNs or through the IPsec tunnels or some similar tunnels, these activities are malicious activities, then we can identify those resources, and if required, we can close down those resources so that the network remains safe and secure. Then we can do the monitoring at the global level, more than 200 countries, thousands of national and international organizations. So depending upon the IP address belongs to which entity, we can do the monitoring of all the IPv4 addresses and IPv6 addresses. Apart from that, to identify the Department of Telecom in its activities against the clandestine telecom setups, the TSOC has developed the capability of detecting those clandestine telecom setups also. And I would like to, the current slide basically shows what the TSOC architecture is. It basically has the probes available. It has been indicated that 38 ISP gateways. This figure is very old. We now have expanded to 134 ISP gateways, and around 4 to 5 more gateways are remaining. So we are basically collecting the metadata. We are generating the metadata, and we are sending this metadata to central intelligence platform, which is making use of artificial intelligence and machine learning. And after this central intelligence, which is being generated, that central intelligence is being shared by various agencies and various organizations, so that these agencies and these organizations, they are basically able to keep an eye on the activities which are being performed over the network. And also we are sharing this information with NCCC, the National Cyber Crime Coordination Center, working under the ambit of CERT-in. The objective is that CERT-in should get the complete metadata of all the traffic which is flowing over that, so that they are able to present, develop and present a complete picture of the cyber activities which are being happening in the country. Coming to the performance of the Telecom Security Operations Center, we basically till now we have identified around 23 lakhs vulnerable endpoints, and all those vulnerable endpoints have been identified and have been communicated to the licensees, so that the licensees are able to get in touch with the actual users, depending upon the IP addresses which we share with them. And they are basically able to take appropriate action. That appropriate action could be visiting the Cyber Swachhta Kendra, being the services being delivered by the CERT-in, as has been indicated by Mr. Bhupinder Singh. Now, what we have done is we have also, going by the recommendation that there has to be sectoral certs also should be there. So to take care of the sectoral cert for the telecom sector, we have developed the telecom computer system incident response team, and this telecom computer system incident response team would be functioning as the security incident management and response team to collect information about the security incidents in the telecom network. They would investigate those incidents, and they would determine the root cause. And once the root cause has been determined, they would basically issue the advisories so that such incidents do not recur. And also the TCERT would be acting like a single point to handle the cyber incidences in telecom infrastructures, and it is receiving the inputs from TSOC. It is receiving inputs from the National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center, one agency which is acting under the DRDO, then from the CERT-in, from CCC, from LEAs, and from the licensors. And it is basically doing a proactive monitoring of the incidents in the licensees network, and taking the mitigation action, as well as taking preventive actions by analyzing the root cause of an incident and then issuing the advisories. All these activities which we have indicated cannot be performed if we do not have a telecom force having appropriate and requisite skill sets and the capabilities. So in that, we have a very good number of officers who are working in the security domain in the DOT. It could be DOT headquarters, TEC, the various field units, the NTI, PRIT, and we basically have identified a lot of security sets and the capabilities which are required to be developed in these officers, so that they are able to take care of any activity related with ensuring the telecom network remains safe and secure. And in this, NTI PRIT is playing a very important role, and they have already conducted a lot of courses which have benefited our officers, and gradually the capability sets and the skill sets are getting developed and accumulated within with the officers. And I'm very sure within a period of next 6 to 8 months, we will be having a very good telecom security force. I'm calling them telecom security force because all of these officers, which might be totaling to around 100-120 officers, they would be having almost a similar type of skill sets and capabilities, and they would be able to provide the security services not only to the Department of Telecommunications, but they would be able to provide similar services to any organizations under the Government of India. And towards that effect, the NTI PRIT is playing very important role. This we have already discussed. Then there are other roles which DOT is playing, like the website blocking. The MIT issues the blocking orders, and the DOT gets it implemented across the telecom service providers. Then there are certain issues like the issues with ISPs is like a unique identity resolution. In case the NAT has been deployed, the network address translation and the port address translation has been deployed, then there is an issue in resolving it to a unique identity. The implementation of IPv6, the unique IMEI, making available the IPDRs, etc. So there are certain issues which needs to be taken care. Then there are intermediaries which are providing a lot of services, but currently there are not much guidelines issued, although MIT has issued a very good guidelines in 2022 about how the intermediaries are to be regulated. but there is a need of enforcing those guidelines. And there are other issues also. So the objective behind making available these issues is that all the stakeholders, they basically have to work together. No single stakeholder would be able to take care of all these issues. All the stakeholders have to work in a coordinated manner, in a collective manner, to take care of all these issues so that the cyber world within the country remains safe, secure, and is able to fulfill the duties which is expected to be fulfilled through the safe and secure cyber network. Thank you. That was all from my side about the duties role. If there are any questions, we can take those questions. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, sir. The questions will be taken at the end of the 3 sessions, and audience is requested to post their question within this timeline within the chat box. With this, I thank you, sir, for taking out time from your routine and giving a brilliant and insightful session regarding the role that DOT plays in the Cyber Swachhta for our country. Highly obliged, sir.
Thank you.
Now let us move forward to the third session that would be taken by me itself, and let me share my screen. I hope the screen is visible to all. Can anyone confirm, please?
Yeah, Vishal, go ahead. It's visible.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So far in the earlier 2 sessions, we have dealt about the role of various organizations, important organizations like CERT-in and DOT in the Cyber Swachhta campaign of our country. We have dealt about the various technical details, various technicalities that these organizations are doing to secure our networks. But in this Swachhta campaign, the basic thing which is being required from ourselves is the Swachhta from our side also. What are the various best practices regarding the Cyber Swachhta we need to follow so that the half of the threat get itself nullified on its beginning? Because if we are not secure on our end, it would be very hard to go further. And if something happens, then it is about detecting it and correcting it. But it's better to take the precaution on the initial end. So let us start about the various practices. It's a very elementary and basic session for your basic knowledge that what things you need to be do for maintaining a good cyber swachhta. First thing that we are dealing is about the device swachhta. That devices that you have, the phones, the iPads, the desktops, the laptops that you have, everything is digital these days. So what are the points to be taken care of for the swachhta of these devices? First and foremost thing is to regularly update the operating system, applications, and other softwares in your system, mobiles, and iPads. You need not to do everything manually. You just need to set the system update to auto download settings, and every time the update comes, it will get automatically updated. Time and again, CERT-in and various other organizations keep on posting, various international organizations also, that these versions of softwares are vulnerable. Kindly update your system. So it's a very good practice to keep your system auto updated on a daily basis. Second thing, that avoid installing any pirated softwares. Always insist on using genuine and licensed software and application in your systems, even in your mobiles. Don't go for third-party application that you need to allow. You don't use the pirated copy of software, because if something is coming for free to you, there must be some backdoor in it, some rootkit may be in it, and these malwares can affect your system on the background, and your system certainly gets slow. So you need to take care. Always insist on buying genuine and licensed software and application for your devices. Thirdly, as an era of digital era is going on, many of the threats you must have studied in that ransomware is a biggest threat these days. So in order to tackle a ransomware type of attack, always ensure to have a continuous and regular backups at continuous intervals for your data, for your files, for your phones, for your laptops, desktop, because even if something happens, you will have at least some data backup that you have taken last month or last week. Rather than losing everything, you may have something to take care of. in day-to-day practice in your office system, this advice is for all the officials who are working in our offices. We generally ignore this advice. Always lock your computer and mobile screen when they are not in use. They are highest vulnerable when you keep them unattended. Very good practice to do it is to set a screensaver on your desktop and laptops so that even if you forget to lock your system after certain time, 5 minutes or 2 minutes, it gets locked automatically. Because unattended system, someone gets into your system and do something on your system itself is a biggest point of vulnerability. Now talk about all the application that you download on your mobiles, because most of the work that we do in these days, we are using iPad, we are using various tablets. The mobiles are high ends that most of the configurations are being set on our system itself. So always download application from app stores. From Android, it's a Google Play. For iOS, there's an App Store. You should always download from the genuine stores also. Although Apple don't allow any third-party installation, but Android, there are certain settings that you can do. You can install third-party softwares also. Don't go for these softwares. Sometimes they contain malwares and they can hamper your systems. And one more thing, that always scan your mobile devices for unnecessary applications and softwares there. There may be some certain application that you are not using on day-to-day basis. So keep and check on them and uninstall all those unnecessary applications that you are not using. For day-to-day practice in your personal space also, some of the people are as most of the streams are available on the OTT these days, but people are very into this digital space. They like to download their songs, their games from the torrents and unknown websites. These are highly vulnerable things. If you download something from untrusted and unknown websites, there may be something which may be contained in the downloaded file. When you open that file, it may get executed in your system. So in order to avoid such type of risk, always keep a secondary user. Don't use the admin user for all your day-to-day work. Create a secondary user. Don't give administrative right to it, because when you try to install something in your secondary user, it will always ask a admin password. So if there's a malicious application who is trying to install itself, you get to know if that pop-up screen comes on your system to asking for the admin password. Next thing about your device Swachhta, whenever you connect a USB device, although in our most of the government system and in the private sector, USB devices are blocked, but in a personal space on your personal desktop, these are not blocked. We always carry these things with each other and copy the things. So always install a genuine antivirus or endpoint detection system in your devices and scan USB device before opening it. For the necessary precaution for this is to disable the auto run feature. Whenever you plug your USB, it gets open automatically. Don't do that. Disable this feature so that you get the rights to open a certain file in your system after scanning it only. Next thing that you need to do on your mobiles and on your desktops and laptops, that disable the remote desktop connections and network sharing on all the devices. Most of the news that comes in these days in the newspapers and on the news platforms all across the internet, that most of the crimes are happening through an application downloaded by the user on its mobile, and it contained malware which installed remote desktop in the mobile. Now what happened? The malicious actor gets access to your system, any OTP that comes to your device, any password you put in the various websites, they get to know all things. So always keep this setting disabled in your systems. And if you get to know that your system has a quite good RAM, 8 GB RAM, 16 GB RAM is there, but still the system is performing very slow. So you need to check the task manager. You need to identify if there are any unwanted programs running in the computer system that are hampering your system. So keep on scanning them, keep on checking them, which device or which particular program is consuming the memory, and get to know whether this is a required program or not. If it is not a required program, kindly uninstall it. And one of the last feature for your device Swachhta, never dispose your computers, hard drives, even your mobile phones without deleting or wiping your data. Many of the crimes that are happening are related to blackmails. The people are getting the access to your devices. They take the all the data that was being earlier installed because you did not delete it properly, you did not wipe it. So you need to clean it properly. Giving to them the best practice is to take out your hard disk if you're selling your laptop. Don't sell it with a hard disk, because anyone who has a good technical knowledge, many online softwares are available which can extract the data which was earlier deleted. And even in the case of mobile phones also, don't go for the cheap practices selling your phone for 2,000 or 3,000 in an exchange without deleting or wiping all your data. It's a very sensitive thing. All your private images get leaked on the dark net and people start blackmailing you. So keep a check on that. These are all about the device Swachhta. Let us discuss briefly about the social media Swachhta. We are all involved, all over circulated around it by the social medias. We have our Twitter handles, we use Facebook, we use Instagram. So many social media campaigns are there. Everything is running digital age. After COVID, this thing has evolved largely. So one of the basic thing that you need to take care in an online world is to verify the authenticity and identity of the social media profiles before getting involved in any correspondence or any communication. Always check that the request that you got, the person that you are going to talk, is authentic and his identity is proper. There may be a case someone has forged the profile of the known person to you and he is sending some messages to you. There are many cases which are get publicized where people transferred the money to someone who asked money online with a photograph of a person who was quite known to you. These things are happening on a day-to-day age. Some say it doesn't happen to me, I'm quite literate, but if you read the news, you get to know the kind of crimes that are happening are mainly happening on a larger scale, the larger amount to the educated world, just because of overconfidence or the ignorance on our part. One of the other thing that you can do for the social media Swachhta is never log on a social media account from the untrusted system, public system. You are using some system for the first time in a public space. Don't log into those systems because there may be some malware who's capturing all your details. You are entering your email and password in that system that get captured in a malware software in that system. And by doing this, they get all the access to a social media accounts. One of the good practice of this is to enable multi-factor authentication for the social medias. In case you get involved in such system, even then, if someone tries to log in, the multi-factor authentication comes to you on your device. So you can deny it also. Next thing is major source of vulnerability that is happening in these time is related to passwords. Let us discuss about the password Swachhta, how we can keep a password policy clean, how can we implement it. First and foremost thing, do not share your password or OTP through email, chat, or any electronic communication. If you want to convey your OTP to someone in your family, kindly call him and tell him. Don't send it to your WhatsApp campaigns or some other social media software installed in your device. Do not reveal your passwords in the questionnaires or the security forms that you get in your email. There may be a phishing mail where you get some link where you clicked it and you got onto some questionnaire form where they are asking some questions and you thereby enter the information which was not required. And by doing this, most of the crimes are happening day to day because of the phishing campaigns. And in day-to-day practice also, do not use the guessable or weak passwords. Like the first one that is mentioned was the most weakest password being used millions of times in the world. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Some of the people try to keep password like the name and then @ and 1, 2, 3. For example, Kunal @ 1, 2, 3, Vishal @ 1, 2. They think that they have done some very good thing, alphanumeric and special characters, but these are very guessable passwords. Use special characters and don't use your names. And password recovery question should not be guessable. It should not be like, what's your favorite sport? The most of us must be having the answer as cricket. So don't keep such questions. Keep some other questions, or if you want to get this question, then enter some sport that no one is playing in our country. Enter rugby so that it is not guessable to the user. And don't keep some words or the names commonly used for the family man's pet's name, your friend's name, your colleague's name, or your favorite movie name in the passwords. They are easily guessable. And in a day-to-day practice in your office space also, this practice has been seen in with many of the officers. They keep a sticky note on their systems. Never write down your passwords anywhere, especially on the sticky note, and stick your desktop or your cubicles so that you don't forget it. Don't follow this practice. This is the most vulnerable thing to do in a day-to-day working. Let us move on to the financial swachhta that we need to follow in our day-to-day. Most of the financial crimes are happening in this space. People are losing money. And most of the wallet companies, most of the digital companies, fintech companies are doing so many campaigns. They are saying, always remember that UPI pin is not required while receiving payments. When you need to pay something to some other person, then you need to enter UPI pin. Don't scan the code for receiving money. You scan the codes for sending money only. And second thing, card number, expiry and CVV are confidential, never share. This is written everywhere. This is very basic thing to do, but people are falling prey because of lack of awareness. We are aware, but what about our family members? Are we making them aware? Are we making our parents aware who are in the old age? Are we telling them that you need not to do these things and all these things? So be careful. Awareness is very much required. And all the cards that you are using, always disable all the international transactions, especially on the credit cards, because you may be having higher credit limits and you can fall prey of the international transaction frauds also. Whenever you visit any website, be careful, don't enter your email, phone number or details of your payment cards on untrusted and unsecured web. If you find such a symbol, this website is being said to be not secure, then don't enter any information into it. It may lead to a further loss of your information and it may fall in the hands of the hackers or some criminal minded people that can lead to a major loss financially also. One of the things that is being said in all the campaigns is don't log into the accounts, especially don't do any financial transaction while using public wireless network. When you are in a public wireless network, you are thinking that I'm getting a free Wi-Fi, let us access it, avoid using your mobile data to save it. But while accessing it, you may use it for social media, YouTube and all, but don't try doing financial transaction on a free Wi-Fi or the free hotspot that you get. There may be someone sitting in between who's capturing all your data because these networks are not highly secure. Be careful about them. And other thing that you need to be secure, everything in these days is based on biometrics. Your biometrics are Aadhaar. Aadhaar is linked with all your PAN card, all your ITI details, all your banking details. So be careful. Don't use your biometrics, fingerprints at any untrusted terminals or places that you think that may lead to some loss. Don't use your biometrics there. And there's an option in when you log in into Aadhaar terminal, it tells you that if you want to lock your biometrics or not. If you are not using your biometrics on day-to-day basis, you may lock it also so that it doesn't fall prey to some person. Similarly, no financial transaction should be done on any public computer or Wi-Fi systems. Anything you're getting for free, use it for the free purpose only, entertainment purpose only. Avoid any financial transaction like online shopping, internet banking, or UPI transaction on these free networks. And lastly, let us discuss about the email swachhta that we are dealing with all the emails day-to-day basis. Let us discuss about the basic point that you need to follow. Firstly, if you get some mail from unknown person or the known person, always check the link. If there's some link in the mail, always check it. Always check before clicking that. It may lead to some unwanted website. So best practice is to hover your cursor on the link being there and it will pop out some message there. If the link is real, the pop-out message would be a link itself. But if there's some PDF attached in the mail and you hover over it and find there's some link inside it, it is a malware thing. Always be careful if you receive some email from an unknown person. Be very careful while opening it. And if you open such links, do not reveal your sensitive information in this. Don't give your banking details, credit card details, any passwords. Be careful about it. So many phishing campaigns are being run by the government agencies also. They send you some mail to check whether you are aware about it or not. So be careful about the phishing campaigns. And lastly, when you go on various websites, there are so many click options there. Some pop-ups comes out, there are some links given, and they say you to download something or you click here. So avoid clicking on such untrusted or unexpected pop-up advertisements. In most of the recent updates of the browsers, pop-ups are automatically blocked. If you have not blocked it, kindly go into the privacy and security settings and block all the pop-ups that are coming over there. And if there are some links being received over the messages, there is an option to click on it. Avoid clicking it. Best way to do it, if you want to open it, copy that link, go to a new tab or a new browser, then open that link and see what's the information there. If you directly click on it, it may lead to installation of some malicious software. So these are the basic and very elementary and very important aspects related to Cyber Swachhta that we deal on the day-to-day basis. So with this, I finish my session, and thanks to you. At the outset, I may say the security awareness is the key to security. Your security and your family security is foremost important. And if you can secure yourself, your organization and your work staff is already secure. Thanks a lot. Jai Hind.